The Xbox One S, which was released in August 2016, is now approximately 8 years old and is the last console Xbox released for last gen gaming. Is it still worth buying in 2025? Well, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly. The good. If you're a gamer who wants to play single player titles, especially old titles they have missed out on over the years, like Red Dead Redemption, GTA 5, Mafia Remastered, Titanfall 2, and so on, the Xbox One S can run them with stable frames. Well, most of the times. I've played GTA 5 for countless hours without encountering any major frame drops throughout the story. Let it be during a chase with multiple AI cars, shooting, chasing you, or vehicles exploding. The One S can hold its own. The same goes for RDR. I have no footage since I wasn't patient enough to download the game again, but I have completed the story and the game runs pretty well. Now, the second good factor being backwards compatibility. Xbox supports almost full backwards compatibility, which essentially means I get to play 360 games on the One S. Forgotten gems like Split Second, EA Boxing 2013, Battlefield 3, Gears of War 1 to 3 run very well without any issue, and a few games have enhanced textures while running on the One S. Now, an added benefit is that you can also use a Series S/X controller with the One S, which is a pretty good additional feature. The Game Pass is another really good factor for purchasing an Xbox One S. Majority of the games on the Game Pass run very well on the One S, with a few exceptions. As you may have already noticed, a few games are missing from the library of the Game Pass Ultimate. The latest new-gen games are not compatible with the One S, such as Dead Space Remastered, Forza Horizon Motorsport, Flight Simulator, and so on. Now, the fourth, and unfortunately the final good factor, is somewhat next-gen gaming. A few games made for next-gen work semi-decent on the One S. For example, FC24. FC24 runs very stable on the One S majority of the time. Well, of course, there are many sacrifices in the visual department, but the game feels and runs the same. Other next-gen games that work on the Xbox One S would be Gears 5, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, Forza Horizon 5, Control, so on. The bad. Although the One S can run a few next-gen games, they come with their own caveats. Sometime while playing FC24, which is a fairly easy game to run, there's a sudden frame drop, which in some cases happens during crucial times of the game, which may or may not be a deal breaker. Same goes for Forza 5. The game experiences frame drops while you switch screens and in dense areas. This is pretty standard across all next-gen games, with maybe a few exceptions which I'm not aware of. The loading times in slightly demanding games is horrendous on the Xbox One S. GTA 5 alone takes this long to load in story mode. Let's just forget the loading time for GTA Online. If you didn't already know, there is no quick resume feature on the Xbox One S. It's exclusive to Series S and X. So there's always a loading screen if you switch games. The ugly. When it comes to multiplayer, the One S is just bad. GTA Online, unlike story mode, runs at 15 frames or lower. Any game which has a massive open world like Palworld, Subnautica, aren't really worth playing on the One S. Since as the world grows, One S starts to struggle to run the game. Moreover, the One S is not future proof, which is a given. Eventually, more and more games will stop running on the One S simply because the hardware just cannot support it anymore. So, the question remains, should you get the One S? In my case, I got this console for 12,000 rupees from a source I trust. Plus, I hadn't played even the classic games such as GTA 4 or 5, any FIFA, RDR, etc. The Xbox One S can run almost all games released before 2020 with relatively stable frames and no overheating. So, if that's your agenda of buying a console, I would recommend you get the Xbox One S for a much cheaper price, as long as you're getting it below the price range of 15,000 rupees. But if you want to play multiplayer games or new gen games that are available or maybe released in the future, a better investment would be to get a second hand Series S, which is miles better than the One S in almost every aspect. You can get one for as cheap as 20,000 to 21,000 Indian rupees. Really depends on your playstyle. Single player, older offline games, if that's what you want out of a console, Xbox One S is easily the most affordable and budget friendly console you can go for. However, If you want to play multiplayer games or more new gen games that are more demanding and have better features, and you want to use features like quick resume and so forth, I would recommend you go for the Series S, a second hand Series S, if you're really tight on your budget. That's it. Goodbye.